I did some programming for all of 1 hour, and you'd be surprised how much you can program in 1 hour. Not a lot. Anyway, that was all of my motivation. I'm all demotivated now, so I'm just gonna play until it's bedtime for me now. Let's go, we can make it to my favorite dungeon. Ugh, I wish we already had subclasses.
Last year I posted a video advocating for gyro aim to be adopted on every platform. That got about the exact reactions I expected, if not better. I've been able to update my shitposting algorithms to more accurately predict the comments this video will get. But mixed in with those shitposts were very legitimate points that should be brought up whenever motion control is discussed. Some people seem like they just played the wrong games and had an understandably bad experience. With a lot left on the table, I wanted to return to the subject of motion, only this time to focus on the other side of the argument. These are the reasons people gave directly to me for why they don't want to see motion control in games. Beginning with, motion control is too exhausting to use. The last thing you want to do after a hard day at the mines is stand up for hours on end, waving your hands around, or holding a controller up in the air until your arms ache like they're in a medieval torture device. Because that's what motion control is, right? You tell which of these players are using motion? The kind of motion requiring broad movements, which I'll refer to as gesture control for the sake of clarity, is mostly a relic of the Wii era.
Even your mom can play.
Motion was Nintendo's main selling point, so they wedged it into every game they could and heavily advertised the system with a flurry of exaggerated movements, waggling, generally more activity than an average gamer's cankles can support. And honestly, it was a lot of fun to play certain games like that.
There are several types of Red Steel 2 players. There's the D'Artagnan. The Conan.
But it was rarely necessary to stand or move that much. The remote wasn't a full-body controller, and even for some of the most involved motion games like Skyward Sword or Red Steel 2, you could comfortably sit and play them with relatively small movements. In fact, Wii Sports is the only game I can think of that required standing, and even then, you could play most of it sitting down. You'd just be missing the point. But even that moderate amount of effort was too much for most players. One of the lessons Nintendo and other developers learned that generation was that forcing gesture controls is a surefire way to reduce sales.
Beginning of this talk, I asked you all to stand up. How many of you went, oh, cool? That's your audience right there. No higher than 20%.
As a result, gesture control has been pared back depending on the game type. It still looms large in casual games like 1-2 Switch and Mario Party, but in more traditional games it tends to be optional with alternate button schemes allowing you to avoid it. Pokemon Let's Go is a rarer example of Wii-style gesture controls being forced into a major Nintendo series with no option to disable them. It's rarer because they know by now that forced motion limits their audience so much. It seems like the only place where gesture control is still welcome is VR, which is now the forefront of motion control. But I don't consider it the future of mainstream gaming because it's a format specifically for people who want new experiences and who want to use their bodies as the controller. The majority of gamers have made it clear that's not them. It's great that there's a place where the kind of experiences hinted at on the Wii can continue to grow and become more immersive, but for non-VR games, motion has moved in the opposite direction. It's been absorbed by traditional games, using traditional control schemes on traditional controllers. For most games, that means using gyroscopes to aim or to turn a camera, because those are the things that motion is really natural for. This is why I focused so much on gyro aim in the last video, because in my experience, that's how motion is being used on the Switch, and it's how most people are using it on Steam. This is what motion may have looked like a decade ago. This is what it tends to look like now. Unless you're playing in VR, then it looks like this. And if you think this doesn't apply to you because you don't play shooting games, well, Zelda isn't a shooting game, and that series has benefited tremendously from gyro aim. Even Mario has aiming in it. Looking at the all-time highest-rated games, I count 37 of the top 50 having a form of aiming that gyro can apply to, about 3/4. Aiming happens to be an incredibly common action across a variety of genres, and this kind of motion requires very little movement, especially on high-sensitivity settings. I covered this in the last video, but a lot of people seem to have been in the bathroom during that part, so we'll do this again. You hold the controller like no, don't stand up, no, just definitely not, no, just hold it like it's a normal thing, no, just there. You use the stick to turn like usual. Then when you want to aim, you tilt it a little bit. I've had my thumbs get tired from using buttons and sticks, but I've never gotten tired from using gyro aim because it's mostly the same action as simply holding the controller. Even with the Wii remote, you could comfortably hold the controller in your lap as long as the sensor bar was positioned well. I sunk a lot of hours into playing shooters on that system. I know what I'm talking about. I'm not so sure these commenters do. The fact that so many people responded to a video specifically about this kind of motion by complaining about having to stand and swing their arms around raises a couple of possibilities. Either they were just dropping in irrelevant complaints without really bothering to watch, or maybe they actually did try to aim by standing and swinging their controller in the air, like Hank Hill trying to use a computer. Given how much people seem to despise moving around any more than necessary, I think we're left with option A. People reveal what they know about motion with the way that they criticize it. These complaints paint an image straight out of a Wii launch commercial or Kinect stage demo. Is it possible that these people have never used motion control and are just basing their impressions off of the ads? Some of the arguments are bad enough that I have to consider that a possibility. This gentleman writes that flailing your arms around isn't as good as a button press. Okay, but no one in their right mind would describe this as flailing their arms around, and believe it or not, gyro aim is better than a button press. Unless you're talking about the kind of button press where auto-aim snaps you onto targets when pulling the trigger. You know, the kind I detailed in the last video, where developers have to give you a crutch to compensate for how poor analog sticks are at aiming. It's disappointing to see how many people missed the point that gyro aim is one of those examples of motion doing something better than regular controls. It seems that some people have decided that casual flailing is all that motion control is and ever will be, and will ignore any evidence to the contrary. This is why I described Nintendo pushing gyro aim with games like Splatoon as a positive thing in the last video, because it, more than any other game, seems to have brought a lot of people to realize that motion actually works. But pushing motion control too hard leads to the problem of people with disabilities being unable to play. It's one thing being forced to play a way you don't want to. It's another thing to be forced to play a way that you can't. Motion controls can be a major barrier to people with disabilities or those who have a hard time keeping a controller steady. This is why I'm arguing for motion control in the context of an option that can be turned off. Some games are too dependent on motion for it to be disabled, but not many. ARMS demonstrates that even games based on gesture controls can have optional button schemes. This isn't a problem with gyro aim at all, which is pretty much always an optional feature across the board. Few people took issue with me describing motion control as progress. Sorry, but it is progress that controllers have a faster way of aiming than dual analog. It's progress that disabled gamers have a controller specifically made to help them play. It's progress that Steam has opened up to every controller type. That Xbox supports a keyboard and mouse for some games. Anything that helps people use the controller they want in the way that they want is a step in the right direction. This is the thing that no one was able to provide a single counter-argument for. What is the problem with gyro control being an option you can disable? What would be wrong with any of the multi-platforms with gyro aim on Switch adding that same option on PS4? The only thing I saw that even approached an argument is that if developers support gyro aim, then mandatory gesture controls will waggle their way into other areas of the game, with Wii cooties resurging like a virus. Looking at the third-party support on Switch, it's safe to say that developers don't want to do any more work on motion control than they have to. They definitely don't want to limit their audience. Few gestures I've seen in gyro games are completely optional. They add gyro aim because people demand it. No one is asking for forced waggling or mandatory gestures to replace buttons. No one. More to the point, this isn't about motion control as much as it is about game design. Motion is just an input type. It tells the developer what you're doing with your controller just like buttons and sticks do. Every input type has its ideal use. The D-pad is great for side-scrollers and item selection, but not so good for controlling 3D games. Buttons are great for various actions, but completely terrible for aiming. Motion also has its ideal time and place to be used. Saying that motion sucks because of waggle is like saying that buttons suck because you have to hammer them, or that sticks suck because you have to wiggle them. No one blames the controller when a game does this with buttons, but with motion people do blame the input itself. All of these things are developer decisions. They're ultimately responsible for how your controller is used. This is where Nintendo deserves to take a lot of criticism. They've done more to advance motion control than anyone. You wouldn't even be watching a video on motion control right now, not for their hardware. But at the same time, they've created the biggest obstacle to motion advancing by giving the world waggle. Like I said earlier, motion was the Wii's big selling point, and they wedged it into every game they could, whether there was a use for it or not. There's no reason for a side-scroller like Donkey Kong to use gesture controls for rolling. But if Nintendo shipped big games without the system's core feature, people might have said that motion had nothing to offer. And after all, that's just what happened with the Wii U gamepad when too few games found any use for it. Nintendo's insistence that gestures go everywhere, whether they belonged there or not, is the root of most bad impressions that people have about motion to this day. But they've gotten better in this regard. The Wii U sequels to New Super Mario Bros. And Donkey Kong let you use buttons instead of a shake. In my experience, most Switch games have restricted motion use or allowed for alternative button controls. Every now and then, Nintendo still thinks it's cute to force motion in as a gimmick. Pokemon is a clear example. Breath of the Wild has great gyro aim, right alongside awkward motion puzzles that no one seems to like. But again, you can't blame the controller for things like this. Take your complaints to the developer, just as you would if a game controlled badly on any other platform. By far most common response I received was a reminder that keyboard and mouse exists. Thanks, fellas. Assuming you're fellas because women don't watch much yet. Talk to them. Yes, a mouse is the best way to aim. Saying that motion control is a major step forward for controllers isn't disputing that, so relax. The conventional wisdom is that playing with a controller on PC will put you at a major disadvantage against mouse users, and that's because, I'm sorry if this offends you, analog sticks aren't as good. Many people try to argue otherwise, saying that all the pros use them. But even the pros themselves admit that it doesn't work as well and requires aim assist to be viable. There's a debate on PC about whether controllers should have aim assist, with controller users arguing that they need it to be competitive, mouse users claiming that it amounts to giving players an aimbot cheat. Notice that the debate isn't about whether sticks are as good as a mouse. Both sides agree that they are not. You can subjectively prefer sticks and get great results with them. They do have objective disadvantages. Right from the start, critics were comparing infrared aiming on Wii to a keyboard and mouse in terms of its precision and speed. Maybe not as good, but enough to substantially close the gap. That was part of what Valve was trying to do with the Steam controller's trackpads, but a lot of people preferred motion instead. Maybe you don't care. You got an expensive mouse and one of those keyboards that lights up and you have no interest in motion whatsoever. It's fine. But there are these things called consoles that usually don't come with a keyboard and mouse in the box, because a lot of people don't want to play games at a desk, or use a wireless keyboard on their couch, play their games on the keyboard to begin with. I'm going to get a lot of shit for this, but this device wasn't designed for gaming. As a toy typewriter. A time when tuberculosis was a man's best friend. You couldn't turn your back without someone drinking your milkshake.
I drink it up!
The general layout hasn't changed in generations. You can play games on it, and obviously many players get amazing results. But for games like console ports that don't really need a lot of keys, the keyboard comes with a lot of compromises. There's a lot to be said for having an ergonomic device specifically designed for gaming with intuitive button buttons and analog control. Character movement is one of the things that Stick still does really well. For stealth games where every little movement matters, tilting one stick is obviously better than using 4 digital buttons while holding different keys to modulate your speed. Controllers and mice each have a major advantage over the other. This is where motion control can enable the best of both worlds. The gyro control scheme with analog movement and fluid aim is an extremely effective way to play these games. There are plenty of other examples of similar compromises.
But for a game, as I say, like GTA, where you're filming, shooting the car, on balance, and also but when playing the stick controller, I was just using stick controller, and it's just not really nice.
You're still scoffing about what a plebeian I am from your panoramic gaming cockpit. Let me ask if Steam's amazing controller support has hindered your ability to play with a keyboard and mouse in any way. No. and you suddenly found yourself getting demolished by motion users online? Probably not.
I
What is
may
your
as well
actual
try
case
this
against
again,
motions?
even though I'm pretty
Motion
sure
controllers
this
not
is still
advanced
a
just
no-go.
because you don't use one? I obviously think that motion is better than sticks, but I'd never say that stick-only aiming shouldn't be allowed or supported. If someone enjoys Splatoon more without motion, it has absolutely no bearing on me whatsoever. I cannot imagine getting upset over someone wanting that option. Your main objection to motion control is that no one should use it because that's not how you play. Congratulations. That's the most garbage argument of them all. Last response I want to cover is the idea that motion control didn't work and is now dead. I want to assume that these were mostly from PS4 or Xbox only gamers because if you game on Switch, or have any awareness of Steam input, it's kind of hard to ignore that motion is still very much a thing. All it takes is a glance at any community configuration page to tell you that. I even saw claims that people like me have been duped into supporting motion, like brainwashed cultists. Yes, I've been fooled into thinking that motion was enriching some of my favorite games for over a decade, because I'm a fucking moron. That's cute. Anyone who thinks motion control doesn't work should play the Splatoon games with the stick-only scheme. According to Nintendo, up to 80% of players were using gyro in the original. That's an awful lot of people using something that doesn't work in a competitive game when you want every edge possible. If sticks are better, then you should be able to dominate all these buffoons who've been tricked into using a gimmick, right?
I'm not playing that kettle trash, bro.
Why would anyone be configuring gyro controls on Steam if they didn't work? Did these players buy into Nintendo's 13-year-old Wii propaganda too? If anyone has been duped into it, it's the critics of motion control. I saw a lot of comments from people who thought that gyro control is bullshit just because that's what everyone told them. Then they actually used it and realized it worked really well, and were left wondering why they couldn't use the sensors in their PS4 controllers to do the same thing there. The reason might be this. Developers probably aren't going to bother adding something that a major portion of their audience vocally despises. This is the point I'd like to leave any motion skeptics with. You've complained about being forced to play with motion control. You need to understand it goes the other way too. You shouldn't be forced to play without it just because you don't like it. There are a lot of valid reasons to dislike motion control. None of them are valid reasons to hold it back for anyone else. Just to recap, sometimes the motion do require energy, but others barely require moving at all. Motion control isn't just one thing, it has a lot of different forms. Developers need to be considerate of people with disabilities by keeping motion control optional as often as possible, but as long as they do, this doesn't have to be an issue. Keyboards and mice. Finally, it should be clear that motion works for a lot of people and certainly isn't dead. In fact, I think you could argue that it's stronger now than it's ever been. It's not as common as it was in the Wii generation, but a lot of those examples were poorly handled. When it is used now, it tends to have more value and substance. It's not perfect, but it is getting better. Modern VR controllers are allowing for better gesture control than ever. Gyro aim support keeps spreading wider and wider. It's thoroughly entrenched as a standard feature on Nintendo hardware. I see zero chance of it being omitted from any future system. Now that it's available through Steam, it's a standard PC feature now too, and the support can only get better from it. No amount of angry shitposting is going to undo that. Motion controls aren't going away. The thing that continued hostility towards them can achieve is people being denied the ability to use a feature that would enhance their enjoyment of their games. A feature a lot of these haters would probably like if they actually tried it, based on a lot of the comments I got. But I'm not trying to convince anyone to use motion, or even to believe that it works. I'm just trying to convince you that this is the worst case scenario if what I'm asking for gets implemented.
Oh, dude, that is gyro aim, man. Lame as hell. I'm gonna turn it off.
There, that was the maximum extent of your struggle with the gyro aim option. Why is that worth anyone getting this worked up over?
What's wrong with it? must code and state.
I'm rooting for Narfi. Who's with me? It was me. I'm the guy. Narfi deserves so much. I actually don't worry, Narfi. I also because of how little of a chance he has to win. Yeah, you know, I really do lose these a lot. My chances aren't high, but it's also interesting to see how many people are actually rooting for me in the comments. Somehow they've turned against their own team to root for me, even though sometimes the point from well, reading those comments gave me an idea. What if we gave them what they want? Breaking Minecraft, dumb ideas, but this time I'm stealing everything you have. Your points are mine. Usually if a comment crashes my game or renders it unplayable, then you as the audience get 1 point. But instead, today I get a point. Likewise, if my computer survives, then you get a point. Whoever gets the most points at the end of this video wins, and whoever loses goes to prison for stealing from the other. This means that whenever my computer crashes today, the people rooting for me also got to help me out. This is gonna feel really backwards, but I'm so here for it. So, with all that being said, who's first? Opera GX. Remember your contract? Of course I didn't forget. I fabricated that comment just so I can say thanks to Opera GX for sponsoring this video. Are you tired of the boring, one-size-fits-all browser experience that keeps wanting to set itself as the default browser for some reason? Then you should be using Opera GX, a browser that's intentionally designed to not be boring. Opera gives you the ability to choose from an unlimited supply of mods that allow you to change things like the colors of your browser. Nice, different colors. Your home base wallpaper. That out. Also check that one out.
You know what?
You change the background.
I want more damage.
Also the keyboard sounds. That, and even the opening and closing sounds of tabs. Watch this. Ready? You can toggle mods on and off in the mods menu here on the sidebar, and you can mix and match mods.
Umag has a good mix of offense and defense, and is a good replacement for Applid.
This one I've been using
I'll do that.
Experience, and honestly, it's a vibe. There's a couple like have fun. I personally legitimately use Opera GX as my game driver, and it's something I found myself using.
Now, I'm gonna see if I can get away with not having Veil.
Over here on the sidebar, you can set up
not dealing with the temptation of having Blood Return.
Chat. I use this a ton for like YouTube video titles and for inspirational thumbnails. It's super handy, like right there. Plus, if I go up text here, you can see that Opera has smart AI prompts integrated throughout the browser, so you can just highlight things and get some like extra info, or have the text like summarized and explained to you, which is really cool. I actually do. On top of all of that, Opera GX also has features like GX Control, where you can limit the browser's CPU and usage while gaming, and full compatibility with browser extensions that you might use already, all of which you can easily import with. If any of that sounds useful and fun to you, head on down to the link in my description or in the pinned comment down below to try Opera GX for free. Thanks again to Opera GX this video now is action. I have an idea that takes me to the highest you can and blocks the spawning with. So, wait, of course we're doing that. Tick, great. Okay, it's going so fast. These guys are like 5,000. Oh gosh. Okay, let me tick freeze for a second so I can place the command blocks. Okay, said put 100 down. Oh, man.
Yeah, I want Alma.
I'm 100. And now, all we have is /tick unfreeze. This is going to be interesting because it's going to be. Oh, jeez. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. Oh, no. Oh. Hey, guys. Welcome back to your standard Narfi. Spawn a billion mobs. Yo, and you know what's great is that if this crashes,
I want Alma.
And it's looking like it's probably gonna. My plan, it's working. Get on the bottom left, it's just all summon doing. No, blue skulls going places. Oh
Yeah,
my
this is
word.
good.
Oh yeah.
And expensive.
It's pretty nice. Every tick, we're gaining another 100 entities, which is absolutely insane. Also, for the record, I did give myself a little bit of a handicap. As we're running Sodium right now, which is kind of insane, but it's happening. Look at this mushroom cloud of withers that's happening. You know, this is absolutely. I don't even know what to do with this. Just the, oh my gosh, look at all the carnage on the ground. Also, every once in a while, you can see like a ton of those wither scales and skulls going towards that one sheep in the middle there. Look at that. The number of blue skulls is just increasing. It's all exponential. Gotta grab. That's right. I want a point. Today I get a point of the crashes, so I want it. Is speed. That's and decided to flip out of this. Let's go! So that means I get a because I get for crashes today. I like it. I'm okay. Alright, next up. Spawn a ton of well, you talk about today's spawns. I'm sorry, you're I mean you can go back, check out the RPGX roster, and you can also check out the spawn. But I see what you're trying to do. I appreciate the comment.
Money.
Anyways, go check out RPGX. Go look at the big red subscribe button that explodes when you're in the shape of self-promotion. Oh wow, there it is. That's right. You know what's crazy is this actually reminds me that only about 30% of my viewers are actually subscribed to this channel. So if you're interested in sticking around and watching more content right away, Minecraft Vegas and chickens duplicate themselves every 5 seconds. You start by spawning one chicken, and then by the time it's passed, there would already be thousands of chickens with their numbers growing exponentially. Alright, to do this, I'm going to set up a little clock at every chicken. Run, summon, chicken. So now in theory, so I'll place a chicken down here, and I spawn a chicken. Nice. Let's add that chicken. If I hit this button again, it should spawn a chicken on each one of those. Nice. And then this, which is now 8 chickens. Awesome. This is gonna be great. And by great, I mean horrible for my frame rate. Alright, now I gotta do some redstone. I gotta pull a mumbo jumbo. Okay, so, in theory, if I do this, it's okay, so this is now a clock. So this means I'll take this command block, and I'll just put it right there. This now means that every 5 seconds, chickens are gonna duplicate. At least that's my hope. We're gonna find out right now. So I removed all the chickens from this world, so we can just start it off with 1. And this is what we'll do. Place 1. Hey, buddy. How's it going? Alright, there's a new chicken. Alright, there's more chickens. There's 4 of them, and now there's 8 of them. And we're just gonna let this run. We're just gonna kind of sit here for a moment. Oh gosh. Oh no. Oh, this has been like no time at all, and there's already so many. Oh jeez. Oh jeez. This mountain is just looking like it's getting covered in snow. Like what? Oh man. Oh man. Oh, this is actually awesome. This is actually so good. Dude, it hasn't even been a minute. This is how many chickens we have? This is clever, because I'm pretty much hands-off on this. It's just going to slowly duplicate itself over time. Oh, the piston is freaking out. We slow down a little bit because of just how many entities there are. So the tick speed is kind of also slower. Should tick over in a moment, and that might clear any sides that it's going to... Gosh. Oh! Oh no! Wow, this is insane.
Very good.
Dude,
What the fuck?
Wait for more chickens to appear? Like, what?
I forgot to sell.
What a beautiful sunrise, sunset, sun. What a beautiful sun. Oh no. This started with 1 chicken, and now we're here. Oh, what a done. I mean, I'm so here for it because I get the point of it. But oh, jeez. Doesn't crash my game though. So we're hanging out. We're vibing. We're hanging out still. This is 16,000 chickens. If this switches over one more time, we're gonna have over 32,000 chickens. Oh boy. Oh boy. It's gonna get there eventually. It's slowly gonna get there. Oh, it switched over. It hit the command block. This is about to just completely crash. This is about to have 32,000.
I said if I would ever replay this game, it would be by doing a challenge. Specifically, a farmer-only challenge.
Nah, the game was done.
Oh man, that
Well,
was clever.
I can't do that on this
Alright,
difficulty.
Well, point for me, because it crashed, so I guess I got a point on this one. Man, I'm liking being on this side of things. This is great. Idea. Go in a cave or somewhere else with a lot of stone, and likely underground. Then replace all stone blocks with infested stone, then break a handful of blocks so they get mad and start freeing each other. Alright, I'm not sure if this will actually work, but every single block that you see here that is stone is all infested stone. If I go ahead and break one, you'll see. Oh, there it goes.
How's it going?
Oh boy. Okay, so can I take these out in time before they start emerging? Oh jeez. How fast do they start? Oh no. I did give myself resistance so that I could get through here and like actually see how insane it gets. Okay, it's just gonna slowly build. Is that what the plan here is? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't know how this mechanic works. All of this is infested though. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, there's definitely a lot of them. I don't know if they get each other out these blocks fast enough to make a dent. They just kind of show up although they're definitely showing up. What happens if I punch them really fast? Oh my gosh. Oh, it's kind of working. Wow, I've never seen this happen. This is actually kind of cool. Oh, all kind of on the same level. Just spam. This is actually so expensive. I think if I did spam it enough, it definitely gets replaced again. But I think there's also an argument made that I could also stop this from happening. Oh no! Oh, I was gonna try to stand up. Oh, got it. No. The sound in my ears. No! It's so... Well, we've got a bunch of them here, but this takes a really long time and a lot of effort from me, and I don't want to do that, so I'm willing to give you a point on this one. Congratulations! Point! You're no longer pointless! I'm rid of all these. Oh. It's way better. I'm speed, and I'm also confident that you can break my game more, so confidence. Therefore, playing so that so you have less confidence in yourself. This is really backwards, and I'm a little confused, but I think that's how it's working. Idea I have is load up the snapshot 2014 in, build a portal, and throw a book with words Crishank's organizer with logo. So, logo is a guaranteed crash from today. Crash. Alright, here we go! If you don't know, 20W14 Infinite was the April full snapshot in 2020, and the Infinite title...
Although I said I can only use them once, I meant per character. Since I have 2 characters with Safe Stroll here, I can use it twice.
A pretty normal experience, something that you might expect. In this case, 5'5". Here, library. And throw that in the portal, you can see it changes color. Here, you'll see that we have a new dimension. I'm actually so glad that I got the right name there. This snapshot
No, the fastest mining point is still here.
Bookshelves, which each of them are different based on their block expense. You can see they each have some like weird random numbers and letters and whatever. And if you throw it into the portal, it creates a new portal to a different dimension.
My shit's already full.
One of them is very chaotic. Oh, jeez, where is it? Insane. I'm going back. Oh, I'm back here.
Most likely thanks to Abily.
This one, let's see what's here. Nether and Ant combined. My favorite thing about this snapshot, though, is that there are Easter egg dimensions, and you can access them by writing your own books.
Dang it, I wasted one of my uses, huh?
Sign and close. Exactly what they said. Boom, and let's go in. Oh, wow. Oh, no, it really
I also forgot to chop wood, so let's do that.
Well, hey. That's actually kind of sick, but I did want to go back in. Let's go to the dimension called S. That's one that I...
Yeah, how does Abily work when the drop rates are just so much better already?
That's it. That's the whole message. That's the entire... That's the dimension. That's it. This is rude. This is what this is called. Oh. It is kind of... There's like doors into other...
Like, it's so insignificant as well. Witchcraft is basically just just the prerequisite for some of the farmers' weird-ass skills that make them wannabe hexers from 1 and 2.
It's actually so cool. Nice. Well, Bowser. I get a point, so... Show Garfield. If he uses Gooey, you should summon a gas fireball. And you keep on and on. Heck yeah, Gooey's one of my favorite mods of all time. I'll go ahead and just summon Fireball here. Set this scale to 20. And what better than oh, can't even see it. And this giant subscribe button. See, it's correct. You can see the button behind the fire. Okay. 2.0. Oh, it doesn't actually explode. I don't know what happened to that. Oh wait, well, I couldn't even summon a fireball. Oh, okay, so it does work. Oh, I should fire all of it. Oh, wait, okay, hold on. So if I scale this up, I'm going to set it to 100. I just slammed into the earth real quick. Oh, there it goes. Oh no. Okay, landed. I'm actually genuinely kind of concerned that it's just going to try everything I do. This subscribe button. It's gone. It's destroyed. Subscribe. Subscribe. Got it? Slowly. But I'm sure nothing bad possibly happened. Oh, we're stuttering. Look at this stutter. Stutter. Concerning. I'm quite concerned. This was a lot. This one's supposed to be 5 times as much. I just tried to change that day. The daylight cycles. The sun's not supposed to be. It definitely is though. Definitely. But the updates here, Mr. Fire Fireball, that's supposed to be working up.
I'm not gonna make it.
Jeez. So I don't know if I have a allergy. But I'm
Dang it.
down for it. I keep forgetting that all these points are going to be in the crashes, so I'm down for it. No points at all. So here's how save it quick. How long did it take to save the world? That was good. Yeah. For sure, we successfully broke. And I'm pretty sure that means that I get a point. I get a point. So, ha! Hit that. Oh, close it myself. Who's next? Darby, take 5 free points to make it more interesting. Oh man, thank you. I appreciate that. That's if you're right and technically a number of bits, does that mean that most points are to me if I was trying to not crash the game? Because like it's for Darby and usually it's trying to instead today I can't
Dang it.
So I'm not sure entirely. Editor maybe it's you know. Now that we all have the points that we deserve, who's next? Who's hiding? Create 5 minutes around. So you may be wondering what this item actually do. Well, I'll show you. I go ahead and just right click here. Oh yeah, here we go. Let's see. Each one of these, I've never seen emergency portals before. This is probably super good. This is done with the emergency portals mod, and it generates 5 rooms with random blocks. In this case, there's but every single time it's different. So like, yeah, see terracotta beds,
Really?
we got walls, we got lightning rods, stairs. Nice. Oh, please. So trippy. So trippy. What if I just like spam this like 3 times? 3 times? Let's see what happens. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh. Cool. 3 times was easy. We found like 10 times. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh boy. This is so backward. Oh gosh. It caught me. Oh no. Oh, whoa. This is actually so. Okay, I'm just gonna stand here and look. I'm just gonna spam quick for like a while and see what happens. Here we go. gunner. Super fast, so many. Oh my god. Oh jeez. I'm in one. No. It's laggy. Don't say it! I can't imagine why! Okay, still hasn't crashed yet. Alright. Whoa. Whoa. That's actually so. Okay, so I guess I kind of have to. They just kind of stack up on top of each other. They do a great job of like knowing where the rooms are. Oh, there goes. Still generating. Oh, this is great. Alright, well, in that case, I'll just fly around a bit and keep looking a little. Let's see. If I can love this. It's getting there. It's definitely getting there. There's so many different blocks. Each one of these rooms has a. That's probably why this is super fast to try to. Like, Frederick West. I don't know. Something. I spam as right as much as I can. There's just so many rooms already. Box, that's crazy. It's using a lot of bugs. Oh, jeez. Yep, it's getting laggier. It's getting laggier. This is insane so much. This is so absurd. Oh, something broke up there. Oh, I got stuck on the stick. Forward. Keep forward. Candle, slip. Candle, black candle. Previously. This is for sure. At this point, we're all in the run. And I kind of want to see it. Even further to Brad. Memory seems not enough. Experience usually lags, especially practices are allocating more memory. Well, so you should mention that. What else I got out? So, I'm inside some fences now. I would. Fences not a bit. Okay, hold on. First. Switch students? Oh no, not at all. Not remote. Not even. I'm gonna remember this is like the black. No, what's possible? Oh, and I'm stuck in here. I'm breaking out. I'm trying to break out. Please let me out. I'm in glass now. What? Okay. Oh, okay, that makes sense. This is one of the most trippy and chaotic experiences of my entire life. Oh, I got out. Oh, I'm out. I'm out. Oh no. Oh, look at what? Oh my, that's a lot of dragon eggs. Okay, well, this isn't even done yet, and I'm kidding. Everyone is from immersion portals. So I'm not gonna lie, this has probably broken the game in many ways that we haven't even seen yet. So for that reason, and because of this 0 frames per second frame rate I'm getting, I think you successfully broke the game, and I get the point on this one. So, good job to you guys being able to close this world. Actually, that's not wrong. Actually, giving it Kirby to Kirby. That is Kirby. Some other person that's competing with us is, Bernie. Scoreboard Bernie. That's 2 points. Bernie, enjoy. But I want more points, so we're gonna move on. Actually, the fireballs be significantly stronger. Actually, now it's good. Love the video, say something. 32,000, that feels like a lot. We're here at 1.15, and this allows us to go up to 55. And so I'm going to use this command I found online from Command, and yeah, that was just explosion power. You just add a few down the center of the earth. Cool. Bedrock. But that was still just 100. That was 200. Okay, I also gave it 0, so I could just launch the door now. Here we go! Push power 200. Nice. So they said 2,000. I don't mind it. Fusion power 32,000. I guess we're gonna find out if it actually functions. Oh, it's just broken. Alright, well, 32,000. Broke the game, but bye. It's not letting me function. So I just set one down since the other disappeared. Oh, somewhere? Oh, those cows are. This could be detriment. Oh no! Oh, the stutters! Uh-oh, welcome back to stuttering gameplay. Target the fireball! This feels oddly. Wow, it's almost as if we did something back in this video already. Crazy. This is actually what I'm seeing right now. The stuttering is actually. Explosion power 32,000 is a mistake. Jeez. Oh, it's frozen. Oh, that's. Oh. Now, hold back. Back. Still not done yet. I'm still on strong. We're still going. These cows are not the entire time. This stuttering is painful. This is rough. It's like, still pick back. So I don't want to move here. So painful to watch. Oh, okay. Alright, well, that's fun. I was gonna just let it sit here and like figure itself out and process and see if it would actually like work, but I guess not. I guess. Awesome. It just disappeared. It's like, nah, see ya. Just like that. Alright, cool, well, that's a win for me. That might be better. I should have seen ever. Like, nah, I'm good. Peace. Oh man. Next year, I get sick. Take a you deserve it. So, oh man, then you said it. I would take way less confusion about where this one goes. 1 point goes to the audience. But that still means that I win. Flipping this on its head, that's the decision I have made. All you people, I want to thank you all. You've all done an amazing job. I'm thankful for all of you. I knew there were left on this corner. And this also means that I don't have all of you here. But, we're all going. We've captured all of the viewers. All of you. I'm here for them. Excellent. Good. How are you doing? Thanks for asking. You're Gerald? Or other officer? Got it? Oh, lost. You lost the battle. I got more points. It's the best of prisons. Y'all gotta do the time for stealing the points. Right, points, please? This is fun. I prefer to be on this side. This is great. Good Gerald. It's okay.
I like it. I don't know what he's seen.
Oh, there's no escaping now. Good luck. Good luck trying. Did I just hear last thing? Oh. Oh. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. They're escaping. They're leaving. They're going. No. Quick, police out. We do. No. Oh my gosh. There they go. No. I've got it. I can save us all. This is the perfect solution. What could go wrong? Oh. I guess Breaking Minecraft lives on. Right.
In case you don't understand, 100 times speed. Here I have a simple song. Now for demonstration purposes, I have 6. This is what it's going to be like to play Minecraft. Oh, you now to see hanging off. Probably one thing that's safe. Don't forget. Why?
reprehensible and testable. How well? Hobby? Let's try it out. Trash, you bet. Hobby! People up past Bugger, reach west, and turn out on the shelves. What's a Titan? So many video see and they go to. Phenomenon's falling off through. And develop. Castlevania, Montrose, alongside free licensed games like Turtles in Time and original games like Sword of a Free. However, there was a time in the mid-2000s into early 2010s when it just had a major hand seems to win along tie-in sorts of way. Castlevania tried to make successful franchises like God of War have achieved, and to such a horrible development cycle. Too much company, seriously, Conjuring Bomberman were missing in action. There was enough hope. They fucking when it comes to franchises. Stuff really though. Selling silent horror genre. Right next to Resident Land Alone in the Dark. Tropes started in a small town of Silent Hill. The Resident knowable and even Silent Hill, telling the story personal. Personified by a town of Eldritch Horrors, called Dark Alley. While Resident Evil budget for Silent much. Tragedy. Hearing moment, kill you. Built up something hard and stern, sort of thing. The first game on the PlayStation was a hit. It brought a lot of people to this more cerebral. I need to work. I like it. It's fantastic. And in that time, upon thousands of things, some of which keep level played. Dawn, Outlast, Alien Isolation, and Dead Space. All those things. Over years of time, Silent Hill 2 built its of so biggest horror. Silent Hill 2. Sure, the combat is fine, but atmosphere. There were things like this. How is Silent Hill so like this? Just doesn't work. Time passes, and still talk about Silent Hill. Discussing me, its messages, but you can tell a story and seem like no one has ever tried to tell it. In these games, like in every other genre, in a band, right, hold up Silent. That left back into Silent Hill 2. Bullshit. So, Silent Hill. Later, speeding off with a double third. Nuts. Sitting back, knowledge, everyone considered us. That Silent Hill. Someone will have to play Silent Hill 4.
Dang it.
After that, the priest would take its biggest hit yet. Being silent, since the first game, were dissolved and eventually absorbed.
I believe east is where we want to go.
What it was were scattered all in history. Silent Hill, Jiro Toyama, 1999, having Silent Hill distribution, and let's make Gravity Rush and Siren. Nashi Tsuboyama, 2 grand. John Ford, would leave it to 2005. Point video and fun games like Jesus World, Skill Transfer, it's great. Yowaki, artist Masaki Ito, on Jory Moles and Ito's games. Too busy dealing with Silent Hill fans, which may as well though the team is more games, actually, this week, Silent stuff. This week, got a solid driving. Alright, what does Milk do out in the sun? Silent Hill entered and spiral. Once the bastion of horror games stopped, not all of that is Silent Hill or even Konami's fault. Late 2000s were just too long time. They're old buddies, Resident that's been bombastic action sequences in Resident Evil 4. Utterly entire shift. Horror games looked less like Up Tower and Sweet Home, and started looking like a man punching the boulder and giant devil. There were brief flashes of something. Dead Space and then Isaac Clarke started taking off his helmet, and there, these shifting tides would sort of Silent Hill. Not as fast as and soon. Silent Cartoons by Impact Studios. Actually pretty good. I saw you guys have definitely on SpongeBob. It's not actually good if it does sit up with table scraps, sitting up at the table with Shattered. Also, at least the rest of me stop laughing and Shattered remake actual Silent Hill Kingdom's Masterpiece. It's one of those remakes that changes a whole lot of stuff. Original and when it's that original like this, yeah, might be the tune-up or two. Especially special is how it the psychological aspect of Silent Hill. Compiling experience to what you scary. It's like actually giving psycho out time and eat my sexual preferences. A lot of them are just Silent Hill fans. We're actually having a picture and the house. The house is true. Even with a shitty tweet. But Shattered is a really effective horror game, and when I talk about the failings of modern Silent Hill, know that Shattered is an exception to that rule. Oh well, it sure is a good thing roller coasters only go up! Ah! Good times, though, were never gonna last, and whatever adrenaline rush led to Climax pumped out Shattered Memories had worn off. Despite proving they could make something comparable to the old team's work and still make it, Climax would never work on another Silent Hill game, and instead the franchise would hop around from studio to studio, the first one to catch the hot potato in Double Helix Games with Silent Hill Home. And this came out between Origins and Shattered Memories, but right now we gotta talk about Alex! This is the first American Silent Hill. And I don't want to say you can tell, but it's not hard to notice. The game breaks a lot of Silent Hill traditions without really replacing them with anything interesting. What they did put in the game just isn't very good. Is that a pyramid at their back? You know those were about James's sexual frustrations, right? So is James just cranking it in a closet somewhere and Pyramid's trying to find him so he can take them out? It reeks of not really understanding what the original games were trying to say by just dragging and dropping in iconic monsters that don't make any sense to be here. And that's not a Double Helix problem. That's a Konami. Whenever they're making one of their terrible Silent Hill movies, they make sure to drag Pyramid Head out of retirement so he can press circuit. Masahiro Ito is a really big fan of this. The main character is a soldier who just got discharged from the military, which is prime material for an all-timer Silent Hill story. But all it means is that the game has more justification to add combat-focused things, like dodge rolls and enemies with big weak spots. And there are also more human characters here than any other game, and it makes the whole experience a lot less scary. In older games, you'd meet someone and they'd be whispering about gods and demons if you think, God, I'm glad I'm the only sane person in Silent Hill. Isn't that right, Mary? Mary, here you meet multiple people you can have a conversation with, and it fixed the old tension in Game 10, where none other people were trusted. There's no, they look like monsters to you. Guy, and he was so effective he killed all discussion about Silent Hill. It's not uncommon. Called Silent Hill, it'd be fine, a little forgettable. But the name Silent Hill brings expectations with it. The ones this game just didn't fail to deliver. But the bad times were only starting for Silent Hill, as it was about to enter the most embarrassing stretch of all, March 2012. I've been meaning to call it Silent Hill 3 to try to get March off the menu. I piss myself every time I see February's hiding. Konami wanted to pack this March bit tough first with content for Silent Hill thing. This was all launched because of Silent Hill Revelations D. The next Silent Hill release date was set in stone by the movie studio. That meant they wanted to capitalize on all that buzz created by the movie. All their content would have to come out in this window. Every week you get a new Silent Hill thing. Docket. Movie, an mainline entry, a remake of the PS2 games that people wanted remakes of, and a spin-off on the PlayStation Vita was not the biggest failure in that last sentence. This would become Downpour HD Collection Memories. Now, the HD Collection is Skittle. I've mentioned it before. All you really need to know is that Hijinx Studios, the Red Fifth Avenue NYC presents Lizzie Scissors, guys. First to remake Silent Hills 2 for nothing. Konami mistook source code for the original games for ants. Downpour and Memories are similar. Play. Downpour was developed by Contra Games, who don't even have a second game to make fun of. Konami, though, found the fledgling Czech developer and thought that these guys will work for cheap. Contra was completely unprepared for a task this big, and cracks formed all over the place. Development staff didn't like the main character would be a criminal, Akira Yamaoka had left, returning music, and Warren saw the opening and thought, it was looking bad. It finally comes out and it's rather horrible. Drops much the same. HD collection flops and the world's most depressing pachinko machine just hit a bingo. But what about Book of Memories? Well, the Dungeon Crawler Looter was so far behind schedule, it was pushed all the way back 6 months, with the inappropriate month of October. Releasing one Silent Hill game alone, bad. Alongside a movie was even worse. Then, readily available versions of the most beloved games, 2 and 3, the worst versions they could have been, spelt doom. Silent Hill's reputation was flooded right after so many high-profile flops, and the series would go dormant for 2 years. And then, oh god, PT dropped out of nowhere in 2014 and shocked the world. A world-class horror game came out of nowhere with 0 explanation. Graphics that were out of this world, an eerie and effective gameplay loop, and scares that lasted well after the ended. Those who saw it through to the end believed that this was the next entry in Silent Hill, with Metal Gear's Hideo Kojima and Pan's Labyrinth director Guillermo del Toro helping the project, starring Walking Dead megastar Norman Reedus. This was a surefire hit. But when they messed this up, man, Del Toro would get Kojima, you weird bastard. The 2014 saga of Konami ousting Kojima from the company and ripping Metal Gear Solid 5 from him was the last straw for a lot of people into the company, since it had managed to kill 2 franchises at the same time. The person in charge of Metal Gear and Silent Hill was now gone. It wasn't long after this, Konami ceased console development altogether, choosing to spend full time with their gambling. And so, next decade, Konami would ride off into the sunset, only pulling over occasionally to make that Metal Gear survive on the side of the road. Until 2022, when Konami pulled into the driveway, kicked down the door, and just poured itself a drink like that person didn't have its pick. fun time. And when we asked what it was doing, it just started announcing tons more games out of nowhere. Yeah, we're making new Bomberman and Contra games, tons more Castlevania crap. Started remaking Snake Eater, saying a lot of things. The Silent Hill announcements, though, were by far the most shocking part. A remake of Silent Hill 2, a pair of new games called Silent Hill Townfall and Silent Hill Ever. Just fill in whatever funny F word you want there, and see. Alongside those games would be announced something brand new, fully original and never before tried. Innovative style of content, mixed remade cutscenes with live responses from fans watching all over the world. It's Silent Hill Ascension. And it's the worst thing to ever happen to Silent Hill, and I'm including Ascension is a dizzying display of everything that could have gone wrong with a project. It's difficult to find a single thing to enjoy about it. Only thing harder is describing what it actually is. So, how do you play Silent Hill Ascension? There's your first mistake. So, Silent Hill Ascension isn't a game in the traditional sense. It plays with your emotions by parading the corpse of a beloved franchise around, but that's not really the game. So, how Ascension works is that weekday you either log on the Ascension website or open the Ascension app on your phone to watch a piece of content. Piece of content is broadcast live to everybody watching at once, like a live stream. When you're watching, you can chat with other watchers and send them Silent Hill-themed emojis. And that's up there with "Where's this Renee's pin?" as 4 words I never want to hear. When the show does start, you watch along, obviously, but there will be key points during the broadcast where there needs to make a decision. Then the 3 prompts will pop up. Either a redemption choice, a suffering one, or a damnation one. And you can vote on which one you want, and by the time of the next broadcast, or choice that wins will be set in stone and become the pick of the show. Then at the end of every day, a character will be picked at random to go to the dark side, where the community watching has to work together to beat quick-time events to help the character escape. You tap, swipe, and hold buttons, the section ends, and once it does, broadcast is over. But that's just the gist of it, though. There's so much more that goes into making this the best that it is. Now, nothing in this world is free, so in order to cast votes, you need influence. That's the currency of Silent Hill Ascension. You can earn influence a few different ways. By watching the show, or watching the backlog of the episode, and by playing games. Or as you were expecting, you can just buy it. Before getting into any of the problems of the show itself, gotta talk about innovation. It may very well be the worst that I've ever seen. So it's pretty simple to start out. You can buy influence in 3 different packs. Inky, Pinky, and Blinky. And it's flied up here. You'll probably start to show. The Silent Hill Battle. I'll move over you with that chick. So the series is free. You can watch it for no money. So yes, they need to find a way to make money on it. And battle passes aren't intrinsically bad. Should they be in anything with these letters in this order? No, it's not possible to do well. The Toonami of all companies made one of the best battle passes I've ever seen in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master. That one not only gives you back everything you invested, plus a little more, but also trinkets that feel worth it. Pace is extremely quick, and you can knock it out in a few games. And best of all, gives me an excuse to put my Infineon combos in the discussion. Now the Ascension Battle Pass is something. So you can buy the Battle Pass for $20, and it lasts for 100 levels. How much you clear the path just by doing what I would consider a reasonable amount of things to do for a daily average sub-top level minigames. Now, not buying Battle Pass does actually, at last, a bit harder. It's because I can't show you all of the awful minigames. Because anything on this app that wants to do gameplay is locked on for Battle Pass. Unless you pay for it, you can only play a select games every day. So, do I buy the Battle Pass and show off how bad it is? Or do you already know what I'm gonna do? Of the games I can show you, this is what we're doing, folks. Sliding tile puzzle and circuit. If you've been looking for the next Thrillville off the rails, why have hung out for years? Don't worry, it doesn't have Silent Hill. These mini-games are so cheap. Compare them to Nick.com games, but honestly, I think those are head and shoulders level, not here. This is how their match 3 game works. Oh, I'm sorry, is there another way to play a match 3 game on your phone? Hands down the most insulting one. Guitar. Silent Hill music, some of them here, made by the incomparable Akira Yamaoka. Sites and cheap, poorly designed maps. Where do you think you go to see the previous choices that have been made during the show? The arcade library? No, that's where you don't play minigames. Alright, dolls? Nope, that's for login purposes. Okay, it's gotta be in decisions, right? Nope, to find them, you have to go to your player profile and moments. It took me way too long to find such a basic feature, and it just kind of exemplifies how much of a mess this website is, and the mobile app isn't much better. So, what does that battle pass I mentioned unlock you aside from the chance to regret spending $2? Well, it nets you over 60,000 influence points over the course of all 1 levels, which will be worth a lot when the bombs drop. It's valued at a little under $60, which, if you say it like that, sounds reasonable. A third of what you expected it to cost if you went to practice. But it's when you look and see what a vote actually looks like you can see how useless this really is. Silent Hill section has a leaderboard review, which options during a poll, and to see how much certain players have forward an influence towards different options. Remember that if you spend $50 and grind out the entire battle pass, which I don't even think is possible in the average human lifespan, you would have around 60,000 influence points. Let's be even more generous and say you're like me, a sterling money into a piece of
I'm gonna...
If you want to farm out influence, just turn on the backlog, background, and let it play. Now, that got me around.
I think I'm gonna take away the insane mode's enhanced difficulty thingy. I don't think it's adding anything other than making everything more of a slog. And I'm switching teams again.